everyone around you is living in a different world, and we just don't realize it. Now, I want you to imagine everyone has like different lenses, different glasses on, okay? One could be covered in fear, one could be covered in shame, one could be covered in pride, and on the other hand, one could be covered by courage, one could be, the lenses could be covered, you can call it, or they could just be lenses of courage, lenses of fear, lenses of love, right? And it's all perception, it's all subjective to who we are inside. And a lot of people don't realize that if you operate mainly from fear, what we see is going to be fear. What we attract is just going to be fearful things, what we don't want. And so that's why when people who are fearful of the future, they constantly attract things they don't want, and that reinforces that lens. It just continues to concrete it into their mind. And I want to talk about two different things today. One of them being how to get out of that, how to become aware that maybe you have lenses on that you don't want to be prescribed to. You see the knowledge there. And then the other one is to how to look at other people and just learn to understand and show humility towards them. Still love who they are, even though they are, in an illusion of fear, in an illusion of pride. So we'll start off with how to get out of it. You can start to realize your language pattern. You can start to realize the way you think, how thoughts, what triggers you, what reactions happen when those triggers pop up. Because whatever pops up, whatever emotion or whatever reaction pops up, you can sort of tell what lens or what sort of reality and consciousness you're living in. Let me give you an example. There's this common example I read in a book, and there's this homeless guy on the side of the street. I showed you guys the scale of consciousness before. I'll pop it up again just in case you are new here. There's shame, there's fear, there's pride, there's love, there's reason, there's all these different things. But in each different consciousness, state of consciousness, level of consciousness, we all react, we all sort of see a different homeless thing. We're in a whole different scenario of this homeless person, when in reality it's just a homeless person and us just walking side by side, right? Someone who's fearful might fear the homeless person, or might fear that they might become like the homeless person. Someone who's shameful, someone who shames themselves inside, or just shameful in general, will think that guy's disgusting, or that, sorry, I don't mean to call it a guy, but the homeless person is disgusting. They think that they're the reason they're making the world disgusting, they're plaguing the world. You can think of someone who's prideful. They like to make sure that they feel above that person. They make sure they belittle them. I'm better than him. I'm doing much better than him. He's worse. But someone who is loving, they show overall compassion. They show love for the person, knowing that we're all one and whole together, and that he'll be all right, or maybe even go up to help him. Who knows? But I listed out 4 different emotions, 4 different states, and it's the same homeless person, but there's 4 different realities. And this goes about with anything. For instance, if someone were to walk past me and judge me for recording in the middle of, this place, then in reality they're just judging themselves, So this sort of ties into the next part of don't take anything personal. Whatever people throw up, whatever negativity they spew out towards you or spew out towards the world, it's just a reflection of how they feel inside. And so any judgment towards you, any anger, any shame, they're just pointing fingers right back at them. That's how they feel about themselves inside. And so if you guys can learn not to react in that worldly way or something, react in the same way of shaming them back, or being prideful back, belittling them, or giving into that fear, like, yeah, you might be like that. Or maybe that fear goes into your mind. Yeah, I might become like that homeless person. And as well. And it's like, if we can start to disengage from those triggers, those reactions, those unconscious programs and patterns that just go inside your head, we can disregard all these illusions thrown up at us, right? But when it comes to understanding other people, someone who is a fearful person, you could just hear it in their language pattern. You can hear it, you can see how they react to things. You can tell by their body language that they just are a fearful person. But it comes with just, you can't make fun of them. You can correct them. Maybe, I don't even know if you want to correct them. You might just want to just show humility. understand that something in the past made them that way. And that's why every single person is in that state of consciousness. They've been programmed to be in there. You know, someone who's super, super prideful probably just, this guy's staring into my soul, hold on. Someone who's prideful would probably just raised that way, you know, and maybe people around them was always belittling him, so he has to belittle other people. Someone who's always fearful or etc. probably just grew up with a lot of fear, you know, and it's just like, if we learn to just accept and forgive and show humility towards who that person is, no matter what he or she does, it neutralizes that illusion. It doesn't give it life anymore. It doesn't have any effect on you, most importantly, and you're not giving it back to them. You're just showing them humility. And I feel like that's the number one neutralizer in this thing. If you show humility towards not only them, but yourself, because we all have our own programs, we all have our own unconscious patterns. If we can forgive and accept who we are as a person, then we can start, it gives this lens, it gives this glasses, whatever you want to call it, this illusion of whatever state of consciousness you're in, less power. And you can start to truly either elevate your state of consciousness or just take off the lens completely and be one with God's true reality. And that true reality is only found in this present moment. There is no past, there is no future. We really only have this present moment. And it's a beautiful thing. Honestly, I used to be kind of scared of it because I was like, well, how do I stay present? And I think that's a common question. And that's ultimately what people can't do when they're in a lower state of consciousness. They're being controlled by this ego that likes to predict, that likes to control, that likes to survive. Obviously, survival is essential for people who care about it. But I believe survival is taken care of by God. We can't predict what might happen, and we can't control what might happen. So why put energy into it? And so ultimately just giving it up to God, you know? The more and more we surrender, the more and more we become aware of, the closer and closer we get to the truth of this present moment. And sorry, that's where it was. How do we stay present? You can't live in your head anymore. It's not about what might happen, and it's not about what could happen. And trust me, it's tough. It's challenging not to live in your head. It's challenging not to give in to those common triggers or common reactions. But I want you guys to try it. Just today, be present. I want you guys to try to forget about what might happen, forget about bills coming up, forget about everything coming around you, and just be present and know that God's going to take care of it. If you are pushed back on it, if you don't really, you don't know how you can agree on that, just think about past experiences when you were stressing about things, when you were stressing on things, and magically, mysteriously, they were just all taken care of. There was nothing to worry about. It was just all in your head. You're creating scenarios, you're creating conversations, you're creating these different fantasies inside your head, and you just believed in it so much that, one, it could have just manifested into reality, or two, you sort of just make what isn't a thing. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you believe there's a conflict between you and a person, right? I'm going to talk because I've had these mental conversations with this person. Mental, it's all in my head. And I'd play it out, I'd see it, I'm like, well, that's how they would react, or that's how this would happen. And overall, it just became a point of I realized, like, our mind is so quick to try to predict what might happen. And this ego likes getting payoffs of pride, of vanity, of maybe even some guilt, maybe even some, poor me, or anger. That's like one of the most it gets, you know, it's anger, arrogance, and pride. It likes to do that, and so when it tries winning a conversation that's just creating inside your head. And once you're able to realize, like, if I let go of all these stories inside my head, if I let go of all these random fantasies, random conversations, and just be present and not worry about it, literally just surrender it up to God, then there's nothing to stress about. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be prideful about, you know? And obviously, I have a little side note. I think there's different things attached to these state of consciousness, because someone who's prideful, I feel like it's more of like everything is internal, don't get me wrong, but there's different like things. Someone who's prideful has a low self-esteem. Someone who's angry just has like really bad experiences, or they're just angry at themselves for past experiences. But you know what I mean? Like low self-esteem is usually the most like common answer, which I think I just created. So don't take it for granted. Don't take it like 100%. But I hope you can understand that like all the problems that you believe is out there is just all found within. All the solutions are found within, and all the problems are found within as well. Because nothing out there is creating that reaction. That's something I want you guys to be aware of. I know I'm going kind of all over the place, but I kind of just wanted to spill as much as I know about this map of consciousness, about us living in a different reality from one another, and just learning to accept and be humble, show humility towards everyone else and ourselves. But what was I saying? All right. So yeah, as I was saying, I kind of forgot what I was saying, so I had to rewatch it. But those triggers, those reactions that you believe are coming from an outside source, whether it's someone else or something, or just something external, it's not what's causing that reaction within. I mean, it's causing it, but it's not the source of it. Everything is already found within. Like that trigger that you found outside was just a reflection of how you already felt inside. So let's say this. I'll give you an example. I got scheduled one day for work, and before I didn't like working, like at all. Like I just hated it. I always felt like I was like a slave. It was a bunch of BS, just a bunch of programs that was wrapped inside my head. To the point where like every time I got scheduled, I just get pissed off, and it would like plague my day. I would think about it day in and day out, to the point where it's time for work, and I didn't waste the last couple of days, but I just wasn't present. You know, I wasn't able to enjoy what I had in front of me, and I had to take a step back. I'm like, work isn't what's pissing me off. I'm already pissed off inside. I'm already mad and angry at myself inside, and so I had to forgive and let go of that anger. And I realized that I was angry at myself for not being ahead, and not being at where I want to be. And that was a big thing that, one, the ego trying to control. You know, the ego trying to control when I get what I want, when all this coaching stuff starts popping off. And I realized like I was just falling for the ego's illusions, you know? It wanted to do it in its own timing, when I needed to just rely on God's timing. And so once I let that go, and once I just embraced that this is just part of the journey, and it's an authentic journey. You know, you guys get to see me, who, yes, I am still working. Yes, I still have, I'm still with my parents at the moment. And it's just like a real and raw thing. And if maybe this really is just part of my story to help you guys understand that if you just continue to have faith, continue to live in this present moment and trust and have faith in God, and just continue to surrender all these negative programs, this ego, dissolve this ego, then everything will come towards you. The person you're meant to be, you'll just reveal that person, and there won't be anything holding you back anymore. So success, freedom, finances will become as a byproduct of who you're truly meant to be inside. Because if God is everything and like anything around us, He is abundance, He is freedom, He is the experience of life itself, whatever, and God is found within us, then we have everything within us. There's nothing we need in order to fill that void. There's nothing we need to experience to fill that experience that we think it's going to give us, you know? That might have gone a little spiritual. That might have gone a little bit past your beliefs. But I want you to think about it. If everything is found within, if you have Jesus Christ, God, Holy Spirit found within you, which is everything and anything in this world, why would you stress? Why would you worry about what could happen? Why would you worry about what might happen? Why would you control when this thing might happen? Why can't you just enjoy what you have right now, knowing that God's going to take care of you? And trust me, it's a hard thing to accept. It's a hard thing to even believe in, because of course I sometimes go back on it. I'm like, I'll fall back into the ego illusions. But it's that time. It's those times when you fall in that ego illusion. It's an opportunity for you to grow and go back into what God has for you. So continue letting go. Continue dissolving this ego, raising your state of consciousness. Become more of a loving, more courageous, more humble person. And oh yeah, that's back to my example. I had to just accept that it's just part of God's timing. It's part of my journey. It's part of my story. And so I just accepted that I am working still. But it's only a matter of time that I get out. It's only a matter of time that this, community or my one-on-one coaching, it pops off. I believe in what I teach. I believe in this truth, and I want to help people live in this present moment and just be happy at where they're at, not live in their head anymore. And just be a light for God. That's what I want to help people with. And I know it's true. And I feel it, I have that conviction inside. Now that's also another thing I can get into as well. Conviction. Do you believe in what you're doing? But yeah, I don't want to get too much into that. Hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully you guys begin to understand more and more of what I like to do throughout the day. I like to dissolve this ego. I like to make sure that I am not living in this ego. I'm not living in a prideful state. I'm not living in a fearful state. And I'm constantly in this present moment just enjoying what God has for me. I think that's the most important part. Yeah, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And God bless. Also, if you have any questions, any concerns, what are you talking about? You can hit me up on Instagram. I'll leave a link down below in the description. Or you can find it on my bio. But I'll leave it down below, so it'll be easy. Yeah, God bless.